Hey, what's going on, guys? So Saros just got a new update, and this one is very much a cleanup update rather than some giant gameplay shakeup. And the biggest fix here is that rare issue where a door would fail to open at the beginning of Cathedral. That is the kind of bug that sounds tiny until it blocks your progress, so it is good to see it addressed quickly. The same update also fixes missing background assets in the prologue, tweaks cinematic triggers, and folds in some general audio bug fixes as well. And honestly, that is the vibe of this patch overall. It is not trying to reinvent the game or change the core feel of the run. It is more about smoothing out the moments that can pull you out of the experience. When a game like Saros is built around momentum, atmosphere, and moving cleanly from one space to the next, little things like a stubborn door or a scene not firing exactly right can stand out way more than people expect. So even though this is a short patch note, it does matter in practice. There's also a nice quality of life change in the UI and accessibility side of things, because the Return to Passage menu option is now available even while you are already in Passage. That might sound like one of those menu tweaks you barely notice at first, but when you actually need it, it saves a bit of friction and makes the flow feel cleaner. It is one of those changes that quietly improves the whole routine of playing without asking for attention. What makes this update more interesting is that it landed right after a much bigger patch a couple of days earlier on May 5th, 2026. That earlier update brought a lot more to the table, including improved bullet bounce accuracy, a reduction to the amount of power gained from the power generator weapon trait, and damage scaling for the power dash artifact, along with updated visuals. So if you are looking at both patches together, it feels like Housemarque is doing two things at once: tuning balance on one hand, and clearing out bugs and rough edges on the other. That May 5th update also cleaned up collision and geometry issues across multiple biomes, which is one of those behind-the-scenes fixes that players do not always notice unless something goes wrong. On top of that, there were general audio fixes again, plus a pretty big accessibility patch in the color settings. Housemarque added new color categories, preview images, HUD power indicator settings, and better color matching for the Arma integrity gauge corruption. They also fixed problems related to ammo, the weapon charge bar, the boss invulnerability indicator, and the visibility of second chance when using Carcosa modifiers. That is a lot of practical polish for players who rely on clearer visual information during combat. And then there are the performance and presentation improvements from that same earlier patch. Housemarque adjusted reflection quality, improved the prologue and eclipse device sequences, and optimized depth of field. Those kinds of changes are easy to skim past, but they do shape how the game feels moment to moment. When a game is leaning hard on atmosphere and visual clarity, even a few tuning changes like that can make the whole experience land better. So when you stack these two updates together, the message is pretty clear. Housemarque is not just shipping content and walking away. They are actively tightening up the game, fixing progress blockers, smoothing out presentation, improving accessibility, and making sure the combat and menu systems behave more consistently. That is usually what you want to see after launch, because it tells you the team is paying attention to the parts of the game players actually feel during real play, not just the big headline features. At the end of the day, this newest patch is the kind of update that makes the whole game a little more dependable. Cathedral should not get tripped up by that rare door issue anymore. The prologue should look more complete. The cutscenes should trigger more reliably, and the menu flow gets a small but welcome improvement. Add that to the more substantial tuning from the previous update, and Saros is clearly being shaped into a cleaner, more polished experience, one fix at a time.